Achilles' Grief. Deep, deep under the corals and beyond the white sand the sea swirled. The light coruscated, refracted, and expanded as the waters broke overhead on the dark rocks. Beyond the land's edge, in translucent shafts of dark green and silver water, Thetis, mother of Achilles, sat surrounded by sea nymphs. Through the depths she heard the cry of despairing grief echoing around the world. Achilles sat alone on his black-prowed ships as son of Nestor ran to him across the hot sand, jumped over an anchor rope and then a pile of oars, and stooped before Achilles, gasping for breath. Achilles looked up and saw the news in the boy's eyes. "Patroclus is dead. They are fighting around his naked body. Hector has your armor. They have sworn to take his head and leave the body at the foot of the Trojan walls for the dogs to dishonor." Achilles cried out then, and from deep beneath the swirling wine-dark waters Thetis was already coming to comfort her son. She found Achilles kneeling, clawing the ground and the ashes from the fire and pouring them over his head in grief at his friend's death. Thetis tries to raise her son's head. "My dear son, Zeus has given you some of what you prayed for. The Greeks are no longer penned in the closer to their ship. I have lost my dearest friend, Patroclus, whom I loved as much as I love life. You have lost a son." "No," she said gently, "not yet, dear Achilles. I'll find Hector, who killed my friend, and I'll kill him. It will be the price he pays." Thetis shuddered and wept. "Then I shall lose you, for you are doomed to die after Hector has been killed. That is your fate." Achilles looked up then and confessed that he had not done his duty to his comrades. "I am their best man, and I have sat by my boat like some crippled watchman." He admitted that it would be better if he stayed calm and the smoke of anger didn't surge through him. "It's like blood pounding in my head, as it did when Agamemnon took Briseis from me." He sat up and touched his mother's lovely hair. "I'll find Hector and make all of Troy weep. Do not try to stop me." "Hector is wearing your armor, which was stolen from the body of your friend," said Thetis. Achilles waited. "You shall have armor as no mortal has ever had. I will go to the poppy fields of Cyprus and find the crooked-legged god Hephaestus at his forge. He will remember Thetis and will make what you need. Meanwhile, show yourself to the Trojans. They will be terrified at the mere sight of you. But you must promise not to strike a blow until I come back with what you need." Out in the stinking battlefield around the naked body of Patroclus, Menelaus, Marius, and Ajax battled on. In a brief pause, Meriones and Menelaus leaned down to their dead comrade and lifted him shoulder high. They turned and carried the naked and bloody body of their friend from the battlefield. Hector harried them like a vulture encircling a piece of meat as they took the body of Patroclus back to his friend Achilles. They strode through the roaring noise of battle, protected all the time by Ajax and their bleeding soldiers. Men stopped by the bloody business of war as the body passed by them. A profound silence lay over the plain before the city. As they strode into the beach, a huge bird passed overhead. For a moment it seemed as if the sun had left the world.